Opposition leader Mark Golding described as senseless the serving of eviction notices for people to leave government land at Lluidas Vale in St. Catherine. He also promised to seek the Prime Minister's intervention if necessary, and if that doesn't work, he may be heading to court. Before we tell you more about that, we encourage you to support this company.
Hi, I'm Shannon Henry Knight. I'm a customer service representative of Leave Me Home Funeral Services. We are in Linstead, St. Catherine, at Inns Plaza, shop number 9. We offer a variety of services which include storage, embalming, and caskets.
Feel free to contact us at 422-6376 or email us at leadmehome876@gmail.com.
Senseless. That's how leader of the opposition People's National Party, Mark Golding, is describing the serving of eviction notices on several residents of Pleasant Hill and Providence in Lluidas Vale, St. Catherine. The National Land Agency served the notices on October 6, giving residents 2 months to pack up and leave or be kicked off the government's property in question. That was done surprisingly after residents submitted applications and were promised that the next move would be to survey the land as part of the process to them acquiring land titles. The residents have been furious as they struggle to make sense of what happened. The opposition leader seemed just as puzzled when he visited the affected communities Friday afternoon along with high-ranking members of his party and his shadow cabinet.
I do not understand what is the thinking behind these notices. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't see why the government would want to do such a thing. So we are going to make inquiries about that to find out what they're really thinking.
Despite his view that the eviction notices make no sense, Golding promised to seek clarification, even if it means soliciting the direct intervention of the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness.
Monique, your councillor candidate, has the information of all the names of the households for us, which is very helpful, and with copies of the notices that you were served. So with that now, we will proceed to make representations on your behalf with the relevant government agencies and, if necessary, the Prime Minister himself to sort this thing out on your behalf, because it can't go any further than it has already gone. It has gone too far already, actually. It should never have happened in the first place. So that is our commitment, and we know the representatives of the people here, and they will be ensuring that we follow through and don't get distracted from the commitment that we've given to you today.
And if the government doesn't budge, Golding is prepared to take the matter to court. He's confident of a victory there.
We will have to take the matter to court. As I've said, there are many doctrines in law which will protect them. There's a constitution itself, which guarantees certain rights, and there's also the common law. A landowner cannot sit back and watch while people invest money on their land and build homes, and when they're finished say, no, in fact, we want the land back. No, there's a thing called proprietary estoppel, an equitable doctrine which prevents that. And that's just one example. So yes, we would have to go to court to protect these people, because these people deserve protection. And they are not seeking to do anything wrongful. To the contrary, they're trying to do everything right. And they must be facilitated by their government, not oppressed.
Now, a bit of history about the land that is at the center of controversy. It was once owned by Worthy Park Sugar Estate, but eventually was acquired by the government decades ago. Some families have been living there for more than 100 years. But in recent times, the housing stock in the area has skyrocketed. With the number of houses increasing, the traditional growing of sugarcane on the land has gone down significantly. During his tour of the community, Golding said he does not support agricultural lands being used for housing development, but he argued that a balance must be struck.
I would like to see the government adopt a posture that is in pro-people and supports the needs of the people. And we're in favor of development, we're in favor of agriculture, we're not in favor of taking agricultural lands out of agriculture. But if people have settled in agricultural land and they don't have title because they haven't lived there for the requisite period of time, then the government must make alternative arrangements in other areas where it's appropriate for them to be housed and work out something with them. This is what governments are there to do, not to destroy people's homes, run them off the land and leave them to suffer. No.
The visit by the opposition leader was said to be a fact-finding one, but it seemingly left residents less worried now than they were the day they were served the eviction notices. The level of apprehension in the affected communities has been declining over the last few days. Member of Parliament for the area, Hugh Graham, helped to lift the people's spirits when he visited and promised unwavering support. He went as far as to rip some of the eviction notices to shreds. On that same day, Prime Minister Holness indicated in Parliament that he personally was not behind the serving of the notices. He also downplayed the situation, saying the government would enforce people off its land without adequate consultation and the provision of alternatives for them. In Lluidas Vale, this is the Jamaica Beacon.